everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the heroes in the game and kind of what my initial predictions are as far as what heroes kind of made out and are going to make out in a good way from the Outsiders meta or Outsiders cards being implemented into the game, which ones are going to kind of be the biggest losers, which ones do I think aren't going to have a change, and what our potential some dark horses in the format will be. This is just a prediction video. It's just for fun, but these are kind of what my initial thoughts are just from testing on Talishar a little bit and kind of getting an idea of some of the heroes, and also just looking at the cards themselves and seeing what's going to be relevant and kind of see, who could be hurt or not hurt from the new Outsiders meta. So if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If not, it's totally fine. I appreciate you even clicking on the video. Join the Discord down below if you want a really active community. We're now at over 400 members, going strong. Really, really great community. People are talking every single day in the Discord, so definitely check that out. And if you want to support the channel a different way, I just recently started a Patreon, which will give you some added benefits like access to my videos a day early, as well as some special roles in the Discord and access to submit stuff within the Discord that only you can see as a Patreon member. So we'll get right into it. So I have 4 sections here. I have biggest winners, biggest losers, no change, and dark horses. So biggest winners is obviously decks that I think are going to get better, or decks that are going to benefit from the Outsiders meta or Outsiders change. And then biggest losers, obviously ones either that got worse or are going to have tougher matchups now because of that. No change, decks that kind of just stay where they're at. Nothing really affects them too much. And then dark horses, decks that I see could be like really, really relevant because of what Outsiders will bring. Now, if I put a deck in biggest winner, that does not necessarily I think it's going to be an S tier deck. It just means I think it's going to benefit a lot. And if I do think it's going to be a top deck, I'll tell you. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's S tier. It just means like that deck is going to improve massively. Biggest loser also does not mean that the deck is not S or A tier, right? You could have someone who's the biggest loser, like Icelander, which we'll talk about, where the deck's still going to be relevant, the deck's still going to be good, but it's going to get hurt a little bit by some of the meta. And then no change in dark horses are pretty self-explanatory. So we'll get right into it, kind of talk. Let me know what your thoughts are. I love if anyone disagrees, totally fine, no worries. It's just a fun prediction video, and we'll kind of see, where we're at the end of this or a couple months in Outsiders and see what goes on. So first one's Arachne. I think Arachne is no change. I don't think Arachne gained anything or lost anything. A lot of the cards in Arachne's in the kit in this set for Outsiders for Arachne are more suited for Arachne Blitz than Arachne CC because of the different hero abilities. Now, I think that there are some cool cards like Spreading Plague is really cool. Maybe mixing in some of the other attack reactions would be nice. Flick Knives is obviously an upgrade to like Goliath Gauntlet or Iron Rock Gauntlet, so that's nice. And then the codexes I think we could use, like Codex of Blood Rot I think is really good in Assassin in general, and Codex of Frailty to help bring back attacks or threats from your grave, like if you've already played a Leave No Witnesses. Anyway, there are some good additions. I just don't think Arachne really got any worse or better. Definitely don't think it got worse. Maybe it's like a slight winner, but we don't have a slight winner category, so because of that, put them in no change. Azalea, biggest winner. Azalea is arguably the biggest winner of the set. My one prediction in one of my other videos, and I'll say it right now, and I will totally own it if I'm wrong, but Azalea will be a meta deck post-Outsiders. And not only a meta deck, it will be an S-tier deck. It'll be a deck that defines the format, not like the deck, but one of the decks that defines the format. And decks like Dromai and stuff are going to have to be really relevant to help hold Azalea back, because Azalea right now is kind of scary. You can hit 11 to 14 dominated arrows with your eyes closed. It's not hard. Like, the deck has tons of disruption. It has a lot of tools it can use. It can go super, super tall now. Its bad matchups got better, right? Dromai is still a little hard, but it's like winnable now. It's a little bit better because you can race down and because you can do certain things. The Oldheim matchup got better because Van Brandt's the legendary arm piece can help basically nullify Crown of Seeds and be able to help you push through breakpoints with Drill Shot to get rid of Rampart. Also, the Boulder Trap also gets rid of Rampart really easily. So a lot of the tools that Oldheim used to block out the tall arrows, Azalea can get around now, and not only can she get around it, but she also can just keep going even taller, right? Before in Azalea, a really, really good Azalea turn, at least from my experience in play, and I played it all through ProQuest season this past season, was like 11 Dominate. That was a really, really, really good Azalea turn. Now that's normal. 11 power arrow is not that hard to get. It's super easy. So she's definitely the biggest winner in my opinion, the biggest winner in my opinion of the Outsiders set, and one that you're going to have to watch out for going into Outsiders. One of the biggest loser. Bolton's going to get hurt a little bit. I think there's a lot of disruption now that hurts Bolton. Katsu got a card that can literally turn off Bolton's ability in Dishonor. Yes, it's hard to get off, but if Bolton doesn't want to block it out, it can get a little bit difficult. There is Frailty tokens, which hurt both his Saber and Raiden plans a lot. Frailty tokens hurt. Inertia hurts if he's trying to hold Lumina. Even Bloodrock can like slow him down a little bit. So there's a lot of disruption in the set. And then you have cards like Boulder Trap for Ranger that can like just like prevent or like kill his one of his, or like not kill, but like put down his Courage of Blade Hold so he can't block with it once because it will go down one counter. Stuff like that. Even Riptide has traps that like take out all of his reaction that he may have put on a certain card. There's just a lot of like random cards in the set that piss off Bolton, and Bolton's already a little bit hard to play with right now. You basically have to get the Lumina Boomina turn and really quickly or else you lose. And I think there's a lot of disruption. I'm not saying Bolton's gonna be like F tier. I'm just saying that there's a lot of stuff in the set that hurts what Bolton is trying to do. On top of the fact that there's just some really powerful decks now in Azalea and Katsu, Fi, Briar, even Dromai is really good, right? Like there's all these different decks that really are going to hurt Bolton, and I think Bolton's not going to be in a great spot coming post Outsiders. Bravo's a dark horse. I think Oldheim's going to get naturally worse, and we'll talk about that. And not when I say worse, I mean like instead of tier 1, it's tier 1.5. But Oldheim's going to go down a little bit. I think Bravo's going to get a little bit up because Bravo can dominate. Bravo can get, race down or disrupt Azalea enough because of his dominate. And because Azalea cards, people or heroes like Azalea and even Katsu want to like block with a couple cards and then attack with a couple cards until they get their good combo. And they want to try to outvalue you over time until they pop off. At least that's the way the two heroes are playing now. And Bravo's not going to let you do that because Bravo's just going to dominate you. So it makes it a lot easier. So I think Bravo could be a dark horse in the meta, something that's played a little bit more to help combat some of these new decks that are going really, really well. And one I'm looking forward to see how it does. Next one's Briar. Briar's not much of a change. I think she's not going to like Azalea. And Katsu can race her a little bit better, but it's not enough to put her in like a biggest loser category. I think she's just kind of where she was. I think at a high ceiling, she's the best aggro deck in the format from a ceiling perspective. So she kind of just stays where she is. The previous bans helped her out a little bit, so I don't think ban suspension, so I don't think it's going to be too much. Next one's Dash. Dash is no change. I don't think Dash gets hurt by anything much. Now, obviously, she has some harder matchups now, but as far as like how it affects her as a deck, I don't think it's that big a deal. So I kind of have her in the no change category and not much to say about her. Next one is Dory. Dory's biggest loser. Dory, again, like Bolton, Warrior in general is going to hate this set. Frailty is going to be a thing and it's going to hurt Dory a little bit. You have trap cards that can diminish her entire attack reaction, right? Like Riptide has it. And with his legendary specialization, granted, Riptide might not be super active in the freaking in the meta, but there are also other traps that affect like go again cards that have reactions on them, all this type of stuff. She's gonna have a harder time racing decks like Katsu. Katsu can keep up a little bit better, and then decks like Azalea now can not only like play for fatigue a little bit, but also race her down once they get the good turn, and keep her counters off. So I think Lexi's also going to be really, really popular as well, which can give her some trouble. So I don't think she's going to be like cut out of the meta by any means, but like I said, a lot of the abilities and a lot of the cards coming out of Outsiders are really going to piss Dory off. And I think, honestly, if I had to pick one, that she's one of the bigger losers, not the biggest, I'll get to that in a second, but one of the bigger losers coming into Outsiders, in my opinion. Next one is Dark Horse, Dromai. Dromai's going to be a Dark Horse because I think Ranger's going to be a super well-represented class post-Outsiders because of the power level Azalea and Lexi are going to bring, and Dromai is going to help keep that in check. With a couple games I've played on Azalea against a Jeremiah, I have won one, lost two. I haven't really tested that much against it, but Jeremiah is naturally one of the worst matchups just because it's hard for him to clear the dragons out or clear out like the board state. So I think Jeremiah will be a dark horse because she's going to be needed to keep some of the Rangers in check. The issue is like you also have Fi, Briar, and now Katsu running around. So how is that going to affect her? So it'll be interesting to see. But I think she's going to be dark horse a little bit going into this. Fi, I don't see much of a change. You could argue that Fi is going to be one of the losers because decks like Katsu got better and Azalea got better. Actually, I have the pre-list over here so I don't forget it, but I actually am going to make a change. I think Fi is going to be a slight loser, not a biggest loser, like a big loser, but a slight loser, because the difference between Fi and decks like Briar Katsu is decks like Briar and Katsu can actually block with a card or two and block with some armor and like keep tempo and still have a really big pop-off turn depending on how it goes. Fi really doesn't want to block too much unless they block with their armor for a pivot turn. And I've played against several fives with Azalea, and the whole no block, I'm going to race you to zero does not work anymore. It's going to be really difficult. I think Fi is maybe a loser, but very, very slightly. I just think because now the Ranger matchup's going to be even worse. And he now has Katsu who can somewhat contend with them because of the combo cards, because Katsu is similar to Azalea where like if you chose not to block a Katsu, they could like have off hands. If you choose not to block a Katsu now, you're going to get dealt 25 damage. Like Katsu, when not disrupted, can be on the same power level as Fi from a combo perspective. So I think he is a little bit of a loser. The biggest loser in the set, in my opinion, in the game is going to be Icelander. Icelander is quite literally, I think, going to hate her life if Ranger ends up being a prevalent class in post-outsiders. There is so much arsenal disruption, arsenal manipulation in outsiders with inertia tokens, with sedation cards like sedation shot. There's trap cards that can give you inertia. Like if Ranger in general is a prevalent class in the outsiders meta, she's going to have some trouble. On top of that, decks like Katsu, which might be more popular now, have a lot of cost reduction in some of their cards, which is going to make it harder for her to like just basically like slow him down enough. I think in some of those matchups, especially Ranger and like aggro, she's gonna be really, really dependent on her channeling Frigids and Blizzards to like slow down the decks, because Blizzard to slow down aggro decks and then channeling Frigid to slow down decks like Azalea and Lexi. But overall, I think because of all the inertia use in this set, I think Icelander's going to have a big, big trouble. I don't think she's going to be out of the meta by any means. She'll definitely still be like a top deck for sure, but she's not going to be the best deck in the format, in my opinion. That's still to be decided on what the best deck's going to be. I'm not going to name that, but I don't think it's going to be Icelander. So that's just my thoughts. Kano, no change, nothing crazy. Kano still goes for its game plan. The only thing that does hurt Kano a lot is inertia tokens, and you could put Kano in loser because of that, because if there's a lot of Ranger with a lot of inertia and arsenal destruction, like if he's trying to keep a Ether Wildfire in his arsenal or a Blazing Ether or a part of the combo in his arsenal, it's going to hurt him a little bit, because if they blow it up or make him cycle it, then that's not going to help his game plan. So it could be a little bit of an issue for him if there's a lot of Ranger in the set, but I think Ranger's going to define the outsiders meta in general, so we'll have to see how that goes. Katsu's a big winner. I'm not saying Katsu's going to be a tier 1 deck. I'm not going to have bias in here, but I will say Katsu's obviously a big winner. Katsu got way more consistent. Its combo turn is nutty. Breeze Rider Boots and Bonds of Ancestry are a 1-2 punch that is going to make a lot of decks that don't want to block very well or block improperly be really, really, really punished. And I think it's definitely a deck you can look at for the Outsiders season. Am I saying it's going to be tier 1? No, but it's definitely going to be better than it was. And it's going to be relevant. So have to keep that in mind. Next one is Levia. Poor Levia. Levia now has cards. There's cards now that can blow up her arsenal and blow up cards in her hand. And Katsu now has a card that can literally turn off her hero ability, which if that happens during the course of the game, you just quit because the game's over. Levia already wasn't in a great spot, and there's literally now cards that make her even worse. You could say she got gore belching, sure, but that's about it. Definitely not a winner in this set. Then we have Lexi, biggest winner. if you made me pick, like I'm not saying this definitively, I'm saying if you made me pick what is going to be the best overall deck in the format, it's going to be Lexi once people figure it out. I think there is a little bit of decision making with Lexi right now on do you go for a fuseless build or a fuse build, because more fusing is better against some decks and the fuseless build is better against others. So it's going to be interesting to see how people like define that and what people will decide to go with. And I think it's going to be meta dependent. But Lexi got so many tools in her kit now. She literally can run all arrows. Every arrow has an on hit if she wants. Like, it's going to be really, really scary, Lexi, and what she can do. And some of those talented Lexi players out there that are already were like fatiguing Oldheims, like, what are they going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think she's going to be, if you made me pick, like I said, the best deck in the format from a consistency standpoint, but we'll have to see. I could be totally wrong. Next one, biggest loser, Oldheim. There's a lot of Oldheim hate like in this set. I would actually probably put Oldheim like right here. Dory's probably second, then Oldheim, then it's probably like this. Van Brandt's, it's a generic arm equipment that anyone can run that basically nullifies his Crown of Seeds. Now, can other decks use it more efficiently than others? Sure, 100%. But they literally made a card that can prevent his Crown of Seeds that's generic, and they made a Ranger trap that blows up his Rampart if he's buffed anything. If he just buff his hammer and they trap it, his Rampart's gone. So, and then if they do it again, then they can put -1 on his Crater Fist, and then that's gone next time he blocks with it. Like, there's so much stuff now that, and on top of that, the power level of decks is higher. Oldheim's still going to be a top deck in the format, 1,000%. But there was a lot of hate on Oldheim in this set, and I think it's definitely going to be a loser for him a little bit. Next one is Rhinar. For me, Rhinar's no change. There are some decks that got better against Rhinar, but as far as like how he is, I don't think it got any better or worse. Uziri and Riptide are both dark horses because I don't know how good they're going to be. I personally think Uziri is going to be like a mid-level deck. I don't think she's going to be a top-tier deck. I think she'll be like a good B-tier deck with a really, really good pilot, probably C-tier. And then Riptide's completely unknown because I have no clue how he's going to go. And then Viscerai finally is also no change. So that's kind of where I had. My original list had Phi down here. That was my original list. So I put Phi up there. It's kind of like a one change. But this is where I see the format at. This is not a tier list on who's the best. And overall, like if you wanted me to give you the heroes that are going to be in the mix, like the top of the mix, it would probably be these 5. And then it kind of goes like this. Well, not like this, but then it kind of goes like this. Probably like that. That would probably be, if I'm just thinking out loud here, that's going to be kind of like, it's going to be like this. Like, we're doing this on the fly now, so sorry about that. But if you take all these out, or I'll just reset it really fast. So if you reset it, if you give me like what are going to be the top decks in the format, or like decks that are the most relevant in the format, I think you're going to have probably these decks, Oldheim. I think those are going to be your top 3, and then you're going to have and then Icelander I think will still be up there. And then I think you'll have your counter picks, which are these 2. And then you'll also have, and then, so these are tier 1. This is tier 2, right? Which is like Briar, Phi, Dash, or tier 1.5 really. Maybe Katsu if someone finds the right build. And then you have your counter picks, which are these 2, which could like kill the top of the meta with the right builds. And then you have everyone else. So if you made me do it like that, that's what it would be. But yeah, overall, let me know what you think. If you totally disagree, it's totally fine. This is just a fun prediction video. It's nothing crazy. Just want to give my thoughts on biggest losers, biggest winners, no change, dark horses, all that stuff. So let me know what you feel like and what you think. And if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.